welcome to Cash and Liability Mastery. In this final presentation and discussion, we're going to put it all together. So far, we reviewed what is money, your money story, managing cash flow of 3 buckets, key money dynamics, debt and borrowing, understanding credit, clarifying taxes, qualified savings, inflation consideration. And now what I'm going to do is take one slide for each of the initial 9 modules and share with you what I believe is the key understanding or concept from each of those 9 areas. Then we're going to put it together and give you a way to see how you've done over your life to this point in time. In other words, how can you go about measuring how well you've done and see where you need to go to get where you'd like to go financially. So let's go through each of the first 9 modules. What is money? Very important. Money is a store of value, a unit of account, and a medium of exchange. But more importantly, money is something we trade our life energy for. You pay for money with your time, then you choose how to spend your time and your money. So money is an important concept in our society. So once we understand, okay, this is money. Money is it's not just coins and change. It's not just a checking account, right? It has a function in our society. It's a key method of exchanging time and energy. The important thing to then is understand that you have a money story, and that money story is having a huge impact on how you engage your world of money. Whether you think it's hard to make or easy to make or hard to spend or easy to spend or hard to learn how to invest, all of these beliefs that you have are part of your money story. It's very important to at least look at your money story and understand that you have one and consider that this is like anything else. It's a game, and I can learn how to play this game called the game of money. Now, the next part we talked about was step 1 is managing cash flow. Because if you can't do that, most everything else is sort of closed to you because you're always going to have more month than money. You've got to master the first 30 days, which means you have to learn how to spend within the current cash flow that you have available in 30 days on a month-to-month basis. And once you do that using a simple system of managing your 30-day cash bucket, which is your checking account, you can build up a 90-day savings account. And once you get the 90-day savings account done, so you've got your emergencies, everything else from there is simply learning how to invest, learning where to invest, and there are millions of resources out there for you to learn how to do that better. We'll have additional educational content on that, but for now, you got to get through this first stage, and then everything is open to you here in terms of building and developing and growing wealth. But how do you grow wealth? Well, it's not that you have to necessarily be a wizard. I would say there's more to discipline than anything. The discipline is the monthly ability to put aside some money over a career to build wealth. The return, whether you earn 5% or 7% or 9% or 11%, that's more of that mastery of that third bucket where you realize if I put it in my checking account, I'm probably not going to get 5%. I'm going to get 1 or 2%. I might need to be in the stock market. I might need to look at broader ETFs and investments, working with financial advisors, people that can help me earn that 9, 10, 11 plus % return over time. Because the same $200 a month compounded over time still works out to be a reasonably good number at 5%, but a really phenomenal number at 11%. So I know what money is. I know I have a money story. Get comfortable with that. I can master my basic cash flow with a very simple system. And then I need to understand the basics of time and money. And that is just dynamics of discipline and return over time. Now, along the way, I'll probably have to borrow some money because anytime I need money now for something I want to buy that I haven't yet saved for, I'll have to borrow. And we said there's really 3 types of debt: bad debt, neutral debt, and good debt. Bad debt, credit cards, personal loans, payday loans. Why? Because they have high interest rates and they're typically to buy depreciating assets. This neutral debt, what's that? Well, things like car loans where you might get really low interest rates, maybe even no interest rate, 0%. but you're still buying a depreciating asset. So you have to be careful when you use a car loan and choose not to just save up for a car. And then traditionally good debt would be things like student loans and mortgage loans because they're lower rates, but you're also buying an appreciating asset. But know that you added a fourth bucket whenever you borrow. You've really added someone else's 30-day bucket into your matrix because you're going to have to take that money from the borrowing and spend it. You're also going to have to pay it back with earnings and with interest. So you've got a bucket that shows up anytime you have borrowing, and that bucket's going to have to be considered as part of your overall cash flow strategy. Now, over time, people often overlook things like credit, and credit can have a huge impact on your cost of living over time. So we shared with you how credit scoring in the game of credit works, but if you can understand these 5 simple steps and make sure that, again, 35% of my payment history or 35% of my credit is tied to my payment history, I need to make those payments in 30 days or less. 30% is my utilization rate. Keep my balances under that 30% threshold. 15% is length of history. Don't close out accounts just because I'm not using them anymore. Keep a zero balance on them. Use them once a year. Buy a cup of coffee and pay it off. Keep that history active to build a good score. Make sure you have multiple, at least 5 different accounts open at any one time, and be very careful with your credit inquiries. Keeping that credit score high keeps your cost of borrowing low, which gives you more cash flow for investing and saving. Now, all along the way, you're always going to have to deal with taxes. They say death and taxes. Well, death is hopefully a long time off for you, but taxes aren't. Anytime there's income, there's going to be taxes. And we talked about understanding the basics of income tax is how is that tax as ordinary income coming out of my day-to-day earnings. But then over time, as I start investing and learning to play that game and I move into that second and third bucket, I'm going to have capital gains and dividends, and I need to understand how they become part of my overall tax obligation. And when you understand the friction and the load that taxes have on investing, you realize why qualified savings plans are so important to understand. That 401k, IRA, and Roth IRA are the only kind of free lunches where the government has said, we will take away the burden and the friction of taxation and allow you to earn that interest on a tax-free basis. So that income tax, capital gain, and dividend that is coming into those investments can be sheltered and tax deferred by using these vehicles. And we strongly recommend you max out your 401k at your company, and to the extent you have or don't have that, look at IRAs and Roth IRAs, again, as a vehicle for saving, using that discipline in that third bucket to build wealth over time. Now, you have to understand inflation is important. You could say inflation is a reason that investing is not really a choice, it's a requirement. Because if I am not investing, my cash is losing its buying power by 3 to 5 or 6% a year. If I buy things that increase in value, real assets such as real estate, gold, stocks, things that have value, they tend to inflate. So inflation is a positive thing for those things. Unfortunately, it's a real negative thing for things like for bonds and things like that, but it actually decreases the cost of borrowing. So it's actually a reason to have borrowing, not that you borrow just for the benefit of inflation, but it's another reason that the mortgage and a house and owning your house can be such an incredibly powerful tool. Net, inflation hurts you to the extent that it grows faster than your income because your real income and buying power is going down. So that all being said, in just 8 or 9 minutes, we've covered the key slides for each of those 9 modules. Now we give you a chance to do the PenFin Challenge. And the PenFin Challenge allows you to take the spreadsheet that you'll see right below this video, download it as an Excel spreadsheet, and start to complete the information on those worksheets. When you complete that information, we highly recommend that you sit down with a liability advisor and or a financial advisor and go over the information with them. Show them what you came up with, and in that process, look at how you're doing. How much money have you made over your lifetime so far? How much of that money have you been able to keep? How long could you go without earning income right now? All of these questions are answered in the PenFin Challenge. And hopefully, having gone through this material, you'll be more confident at your ability to build wealth going forward. So complete the worksheet below and reach out to a CLA, a certified liability advisor, and review with them your progress. Starting with a liability advisor allows you to reduce the friction of borrowing and make sure that you're spending as little as possible as you can on credit or mortgage liabilities. And once you do that, you can take that additional cash flow, work with a financial advisor who can then help you figure out that third bucket, the best way to invest that money going forward. Hope this has been helpful. Wish you the absolute best. Good luck.